You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Progressive loves to help people make smart choices. That's why they offer a tool called Auto Quote Explorer that allows you to compare your Progressive car insurance quote with rates from other companies. So you save time on the research and can enjoy savings when you choose the best rate for you. Give it a try after this episode at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
DC High Volume, Batman. The Dark Knight's definitive DC Comics stories, adapted directly for audio for the very first time.
Fear. I have to make them afraid.
He's got a motorcycle. Get after him or I'll have you shot.
You mean blow up the building?
From this moment on, none of you are safe.
New episodes every Wednesday, wherever you get your podcasts.
Dear God, or gods, or goddesses, or, just sort of any all-powerful beings that might be listening to the pod. I'm sure there are many. Forgive us in our delinquency. It has been 10,000 years since we have talked to the great and powerful Lani Diane Rich, who is here today. I can't believe it.
Oh my God,
Hello.
I'm so excited. It's so wonderful to see your beautiful faces. You're amazing.
Oh, we're so excited.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here.
So excited. And our listenership is so excited too, because I love to tell lots of secrets in our Discord. And so I've already told our Discord kids that we're going to be talking with you. And they're like, shut up.
Oh, hi, everybody.
So welcome for the handful of human beings who have not listened to or read your work. We should start at the top. Lani, tell the good folks at home where they can find you, where they may have already found you, etc.
Yeah, well, I am an author of 12 novels. You look at Lani Diane Rich or Lucy March, you will find those. I also did podcasting for quite a while. I did a full Still Pretty that was about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I did Still Dead about Angel. So those are out there. And I'm also currently a producer at my husband Ian Martin's YouTube channel called Passion of the Nerd, and anybody who loves Buffy needs to check that out. Like I love this man so much, like as a person, but like I'm such a big fan of his work as well that like I constantly proselytize to everybody about how amazing. So if anybody out there has not found Passion of the Nerd yet, definitely go check it out. You're going to be so glad you did.
It's brilliant, as is your coverage of both Buffy and Angel.
Thank
I think Jenny and I often have moments where we'll like read an email from a listener. We had one just our last episode where we're like, now see, this is the kind of perspective that, you would think we would have as podcasters, really thinking about the big picture, the big arcs, really digging in. And I think both you and Ian are knocking those balls out of the park in all of the work you do. If you're listening to this podcast and you have not checked those things out, they'll be linked in the show notes today. And
Absolutely.
you must. But we're here to talk about Reptile Boy.
Yes.
Everyone's favorite episode.
Well, yes. I mean, this was your pick, right?
Yeah,
like season 2, you were like, I would like to talk about Reptile Boy. So just like elevator pitch it. Why did you pick Reptile Boy as the episode you wanted to come in on?
Okay, Reptile Boy is an episode that I think a lot of people really dislike, and for good reason. Like, I will absolutely say that there are things in this that are like infuriating. It is very much like, penis demon money snake. This, like it's so gross in so many
I
ways.
just felt like I was playing the New York Times connections.
Oh, are those all 5-letter words? I think those could all be like something like, the Wordle to have 4 days in a row. You could do that. Absolutely. So if the Wordle people are out there and you haven't used penis demon money snake, like, you are welcome. Thank you. But yeah, like there's a lot of stuff about it that is really, and the first time I watched it, I think I was so infuriated by these frat boys that I hated so much that I was like, oh, I hate that episode. And then when I watched it later, I was like, oh, well, we actually have like some really good, solid story beats, and there's like these incredibly classic moments in Reptile Boy has the hair braiding at the beginning, and you're gonna live forever. What, you can't get a cup of coffee? So like awesome Willow stuff. There's like when I kiss you, I want to die. Like the most drama queens, right?
Jenny, we were doing
her desk.
So, yeah, totally. We were doing like a group rewatch. We've been doing Summer's Fridays.
Yes.
This summer. We've been watching every Friday, all like moving our way through season 2 with the listenership. And we hit Reptile Boy, and my and Kristen's jaws just like were on the floor to be confronted, reminded that line lives in this episode. It's like amazing when that happens.
Well, it's so funny because I'm producing at Passion of the Nerd. So like Ian will write his scripts and then I'll end up doing the video editing, a lot of it, and, helping him with all that stuff. And it's amazing how often we go back to these beats. When you kiss me, I want to die. What, you can't get a cup of coffee? Like, especially because when you're talking about Willow and Willow's arc, like here we have the core of who Willow really is, which in high school, the core of who you are is buried so deep because you're just trying to live through the day, and like figure it all out. And every now and again, like who you really are at the core of your person will come out. And this is badass Willow showing up in that moment, yelling at both of these 6 foot whatever men, And I mean, it's so wonderful. And the hair braiding in the beginning too is one of my favorite clips to use because it is this wonderful, like bonded friendship moment. So when you're talking about the friendship between and the relationships between all these characters, that's one of the moments you go to. And it's all in Reptile Boy.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And you do so much work with story and storytelling. Yeah. So you come to the entirety of the series with that lens.
Yes.
And I know you have many beats you want to hit on the reptile because this is in defense of Reptile Boy. Which, by the way, Jenny, we haven't even talked about Reptile Boy in the feed yet. Which I like the episode.
Do
Reptile
you like
Boy.
it? I was going to
Yeah. No. It's great. It's got a lot of what we just talked about, but it also just like as a kind of Monster of the Week episode, like has a glorious thing going on. It's the repetition, like why is this show obsessed with giant snakes is a question.
It's a penis thing. Like there's like it's
I don't know if we want
that must be why I don't get it because it doesn't look like anything to me.
So often, I can tell you, I see penises all over Buffy. Like it is just, they're everywhere. And the thing is that it's like such a patriarchal kind of symbol. When you think about the demon that came out to eat the babies and band candy, I mean, big freaking penis. Like it's just all over the place. The Double Meat Palace.
I was going to say, I always go, yes. That's the worst one for me. That's the worst penis for me. I don't like it.
This show deeply, deeply struggles with patriarchy, like in ways that are so friggin' interesting, both in ways that are aware and that are not. And Reptile Boy, the thing is that the patriarchy gets it in the end. And that's the important thing. Like, not that we don't show the grossness of these frat guys sacrificing girls to this penis demon money snake for money, for like that, like causing all of that pain, snuffing out a beautiful life for money. It's so freaking gross. But in the end, though, like they end up not winning. And so when the patriarchy shows up in our stories, that's not a problem as long as the story isn't validating the patriarchy the way it might in, say, Go Fish, for example, right? Which is a show, like episode that I absolutely will never defend. I cannot stand it. But yeah, like I find it so interesting that this episode does that. And then it has these, like, when you're talking about story structure, like it is beautifully escalated. We've got 4 acts that move forward. We've got the side stories with Buffy and versus Angel in that he will not give in and be with her. And then we've got, Buffy versus Giles, and that Giles is trying to like really prepare her for whatever is coming next. Because let's not forget, Giles is still recovering from the fact that his daughter died at the end of the last season, you know? And so like he doesn't want that to happen again. And so he's got that stuff going on. You know, we've got Willow and Cordelia. I mean, come on, like Cordelia, like I adore her so much. She gets better every time, even in the same episode that I've seen before. Somehow Charisma Carpenter retroactively makes the performance better every time I see it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how she does that. It's
Truly.
like full on magic. Full on magic. I don't even know what it is.
The recurring of this episode is just unmatched. We have not seen its like before or since.
We were chatting off mic about the fact that Buffy is coming back to us, and we were gonna stick on the Reptile Boy beat, but there's so much sort of like underneath what we're talking about, because you're talking about what makes this episode good and also what makes Buffy good. And so I wonder if you have some thoughts on, like, what is it? What are the beats? We've hit on some of them already that make a good episode of Buffy, and what are we maybe hoping for to bring that into the Buffy that is coming our way soon? Question mark.
Yeah, fingers crossed. God willing, and the creek don't rise. We're really hoping that Buffy. I'm so excited. I'm so excited that Sarah Michelle Gellar is deeply involved. I feel like that's a really good sign. But one of the things about Buffy, aside from the tremendous amount of talent, you know, that they pulled together in the original, and that it looks like we're also getting in the new one, is that in the writing, there is this thing that Buffy episodes do. And I've been studying this for a while because I've kind of wanted to like bring that into my own writing. And it is this thing where Buffy reaches into your chest, takes out your still beating heart, licks it, and takes a bite in front of you and makes you just dissolve into tears and pain and all of this kind of stuff. And the thing is, it makes me think of that moment in The Princess Bride when Wesley has been on the bed and he's, you know, just come back from the dead. And then Humperdinck is like, to the death. And Wesley's like, to the pain. And he gives this big thing about all the ways in which he's going to like bring the pain for Humperdinck. And it freaks him out. And that's kind of how I see the thing that Buffy does really, really well is to the pain. And it is things like Becoming Part 2, like Angel comes back from the dead and she has to stab him through the heart. Are you kidding me? Like, what is that about? Innocence, we have that a little in the end when, you know, Joyce says, what did you do for your birthday? And she says, I got older. And then she snuggles on Joyce's shoulder and they just watch the candle burn down. Like, you know, New Moon Rising, like Wild at Heart was devastating, but New Moon Rising, when Oz and Willow have that conversation, that loving conversation, and then still split because they know that that's the right thing to do. The gift, I mean, come on. Tabula rasa. Tara realizes that Willow has done another spell on her memory, on her mind. I mean, oh my God, it's devastating.
Maybe I shouldn't have asked this question. The roller coaster that you just took me on when you
I had like
those
full
in a
body
row.
goosebumps this
so
whole time.
close to tears just talking about it. But the thing that fiction has this ability to do is that like it can give you a catharsis, especially an emotional catharsis that sometimes can be inaccessible in our real lives because our real lives are like too close, too hard, too personal, too painful. And you can't always feel all of your pain, especially when you're in a time period where the pain is just, you know, a bit much. Like sometimes I got to say, life is a little bit much, you know? And when you've got all of that pain and you can't feel it and you can't really like work through it, but you can watch an episode of Buffy and cry for 4 hours, right? The body, I mean, good God, like you can just keep going like forever on all of these things. And so one of the things that I love about it and that I've been really trying to figure out like how this functions and why Buffy does this so well. And I think one of the elements that I found is this thing that it does where it's like, there's one thing that the protagonist wants more than anything, right? They want more than anything. There's this deep love, there's this desire, there's this longing, there's this yearning. And then when it comes down to it, they're about to get it and they can't have it and they have to give it up. Buffy stabbing Angel, Tara leaving Willow, Willow and Oz splitting up. Like all of these things are to the pain. It's right there. You could have it, but you know that it's not right. And then you have to do something else. And all of that is so, I mean, there are other elements to some of the pain catharsis that Buffy gives you, but I've seen this and I've been looking for it in other media because not a lot of media does it. Midnight Mass, the Mike Flanagan thing on Netflix. I don't know if y'all have seen it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So good. I'm not going to say what moment, but you know what moment I'm talking about.
I do.
Of course you do. Of course you do. And Good Place has it as well. Again, not going to spoil, but if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Just these moments where like you have to choose the thing that breaks your heart. You have to actively choose, and choice in storytelling is so important. It is essential to everything. It's not what happens to us. It's what we choose given what happens to us that makes these stories work so well. And all of that, like that is to the pain is the thing that if the Buffy writers on the new show can just do that one thing, I think that they can bring back that magic because there's so many things that make Buffy good. There's like the dialogue and the relationships and the humor and like all of these things that give it that heart and soul. I love the mixture of horror and humor and comedy and all of that. I think that that's beautiful, but those are more surface. Like if you really want to bring back Buffy, you need to go for the pain. You need to, and if it takes an entire season to build it up and then you go for that shot, it doesn't have to be in every episode, but man, at the end of the season, you need to be able to go for the pain. It is amazing. And I think it's so valuable for anybody who's ever had too much pain in their life to process. You can go to this fiction, you can feel that, you can work through it, you can have that catharsis. And it is so helpful.
Yes, to all of that. And I wonder, but I feel like there's something about the fact that we're here sort of like coming into this bigger conversation through an episode like Reptile Boy.
Right.
But for real, because, and especially in the context of new television, right? This series happened at a time when we got 22 episodes into season.
Yes.
And I don't know what's going to happen with new Buffy, but I know that in television in general, we just do not get that kind of real estate. And so I wonder, like, you talk so much and so well about storytelling. If you think it's possible to like hit those beats and get to the pain with a shorter arc. I mean, I guess Midnight Mass is an answer because that did it.
Right. I think that actually you'll find in a lot of these seasons that are 22. I would argue that 22 seasons is 22 episodes is too long for a season of television. You'll find that in these, you'll end up having a lot of filler episodes. You'll have like things where like not much is happening. We have a monster of the week and somebody says something funny, but like not much is really happening in those episodes as far as the actual arc. If you went through season 2 of Buffy and took out everything that was not like, related to who the big bad is, like that it's an Angelus episode, that it's working into that, I think that you would end up with probably about 13 episodes. And so a 13 episode season, I think, is actually perfect. And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is actually a show that I've really loved. Joss Whedon was executive producer on it, but it was mostly Jed and Marissa Tancherone, Jed Whedon and Marissa Tancherone, who were like, really deeply involved in it. And they had these 22 episode seasons. They started breaking them up into what they called pods. They'd have like one, so it felt like 2 season story arcs in one season. And when I saw them do that, I was like, oh, that's perfect. And if you look at things like the prestige television that we had going on that was happening on cable, where they were only getting 13 episode orders, and you have things like Breaking Bad coming out in that. I think The Wire might have been some of that. Sopranos might have been some of it, because all that was on like HBO and stuff. Those shorter seasons, more intense, can kind of get you there with more focus and faster. So I would argue that I think it can be even better than a 22 episode season.
All right. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go, new Buffy.
I have a lot of hope. For this. I'm very excited about it.
We have to. I mean, I'm sure we'll talk to you about other things prior to then, but when that happens, we need to have a conversation with you specifically.
I would love that.
Would really love to get your vantage point there. Anyway, I feel I've maybe taken us off the Reptile Boy beat, and I did not mean to. I just am very excited to hear all of your thoughts on everything.
That is okay. I mean, honestly, for Reptile Boy, like there's a lot of really fun stuff that happens in here. I actually love that Buffy lies to Giles. I love, honestly, the Buffy-Giles relationship in this episode is one of the things that I love the most, but it's this subtle undercurrent of that parental relationship, which we've seen, you know, he becomes a father to her. I mean, throughout, like that becomes less, you know, subtext and more text as we go. But this is one of those things where, like, you know, she's lying to both Joyce and Giles, but it's really Giles that we care about in this moment, that, you know, she is struggling to meet all of his expectations. And so there's that gentle undercurrent of that tension that is happening underneath this story that is kind of about men, right? And kind of about like the problem of, you know, penis, demon, money snake, the capitalistic patriarchy, like all of that stuff. And one of the things that I really love about going back into this is that in the 90s, there was so much that we didn't like recognize, like, you know, when I remember the 90s, I think about this fog where like I would look at stuff like this and not think patriarchy and not think capitalism and not know, like I was so gaslit, you know. And as you go back and you look at this stuff and I'm like, oh, okay, so this is somebody saying the patriarchy, this capitalistic patriarchy is a penis demon money snake. Hello, like it's bad, you know, and recognizing it. And in this episode, knocking it out, like it gets the axe in the end. And that's what's really important, is that this stuff is acknowledged in so many of these stories, especially from these really deeply problematic time periods, which is basically all of human history. You look at the stories that come out, and there are things that the stories know that they're talking about, and there are things that the stories don't know that they're talking about. And the thing that I love about when they don't know, right, when they're super problematic, when they come out, is that it gives us such an opportunity to interrogate those parts of ourselves that we have internalized and that we have believed to be true, maybe at one point or another. And it's another thing, like, again, I will go on forever about how stories are the best thing in the world and I love them so much. But like even the problematic bits, even the stuff that you look at it and it's disturbing and upsetting because it's horrible. And because you look at the things that, like, if you look at Go Fish, the ways in which, you know, the idea, oh, great, you know, what is this going to do for my reputation, getting raped by the swim team? And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, we're talking about your reputation rather than talking about, like, you know, it's her body, but it's his future. So let's look at him, you know. So many problematic things in our society, but our stories reflect us back at us. It gives us a mirror that we can look at ourselves and really look critically and think about how we can move forward without doing this to ourselves. Like, as a group, humanity as a group, we need to look out for each other more. And we don't do that when we're split into these, you know, these spaces, right, where we don't understand how harmful these ideas can be, you know. So when you look at all of these stories and you see all of the things that make you cringe because you're like, oh, did not age well. Good. It can't, like, you can't go back and redo it. You can't go back and unring that bell, right? But you can listen to the bell and learn from it. And I think that that's one of the really beautiful things that these stories, even in these really difficult spaces, have to show us. And these boys, like this moment where the guy comes in. Oh God! It's the fury. It's the fury. It's Catherine O'Hara from Clue with the flames on the side of her face, and Buffy's knocked out, and the floppy-haired douchebag comes in and is about to, rape her, right? And then the other guy comes in. He's like, no, don't do that. You know, not because it's a bad thing to do, but because we want to save her for the penis demon money snake. Like that in itself is so illustrative of exactly the kind of thinking that happens and the ways in which people get dehumanized. And once they're dehumanized, that is the most dangerous step in any of this, right? But you watch that happen And you can see it so clearly. So this is a moment where Reptile Boy knew what it was doing and took a step right. And I'm like, all right, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Like, if I'm going to take you down for all the stuff you do that makes me just want to shoot myself in the foot, let's go ahead and throw this at you. You got that right. You showed this and illustrated it in a way that was absolutely accurate for how horrible that moment was. And I appreciated that.
Yeah. Yeah. Brilliantly said. Hello, my little nightshades. If you are dying for the next batch of Wednesday Season 2 to drop on Netflix, then we're going to let you in on a secret. The Wednesday Season 2 official WOCast is here.
Prepare to dive deeper into the mysteries of Wednesday with the ultimate companion video podcast. Join the frightfully funny Caitlin Riley, along with her producer, Thing, as she sits down with the marvelously macabre cast and crew. Together, they'll unravel each shocking twist, dissect the dynamics lurking beneath, unearth the deep Addams Family lore, and answer all of your lingering questions that simply refuse to stay buried.
Guests include Emma Myers, Joy Sunday, Hunter Doohan, Steve Buscemi, Fred Armisen, Catherine Zeta-Jones, the Joanna Lumley, also show creators Al Go and Miles Miller, and of course, Wednesday herself, Jenna Ortega, plus many more.
With 8 delightfully dark episodes to devour, you'll be drawn deeper into the haunting halls of Nevermore Academy than ever before. But beware, you know where curiosity often leads. The Wednesday Season 2 official WOCast is available in audio and video on Tudum.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you find your podcasts. You've been warned.
Hey there, everyone. Kristin here. I'm sure it's no surprise to you, but it is summer. It is hot. I just finished having a garage sale that took up the entirety of my Sunday, and I am exhausted. I am hungry, and I maybe have never been happier that I have Factor in my refrigerator, because if I didn't, I would be laying face down on the kitchen floor, simply wishing that someone could make me dinner. Factor helps me eat smarter with delicious chef-prepped meals that are dietitian approved and delivered to my door. They have more than 65 weekly meals to choose from, including premium seafood choices like salmon and shrimp at no extra cost. Eat smart at factormeals.com/buffering50off. That's 50 off. And use code buffering50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code buffering50off at factormeals.com for 50% off plus free shipping. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor.
This podcast you're listening to, it was once just a dream. A dream that became reality not by accident, but because someone decided not to let the what-ifs keep them from creating something they believed in. Starting your own business is a dream lots of us share, but too many let it remain just a dream. Don't hold yourself back from creating what you believe in, and turn those what-ifs into why-nots with Shopify by your side. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world, and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started. What if I can't design a website? Shopify's got you with beautiful, ready-to-go templates to match your brand's style. What if I need a hand? Get help with everyday tasks like enhancing product images, writing product descriptions, or generating discount codes with Shopify's AI tools created for commerce. What if people haven't heard about my brand? Shopify helps you find your customers with easy-to-run email and social media campaigns. And what if I get stuck? Shopify's always around to share advice with their award-winning 24/7 customer support. So turn those dreams into and give them the best shot at success with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/realm. Go to shopify.com/realm. Shopify.com/realm.
I just feel like I grinched out, except with my brain instead of my heart. You know what I mean? Like listening to you talk, I feel like my brain is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and like pressing on the inside of my skull. and I love it. That's it. That's my feedback. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. I mean, like, it's, yeah, honestly, and I will, if you ask me a question about story, you just got to have an hour to sit down and just like, I will just go on if you do not stop me.
But it is such a, it's
Gladly.
just such a dream to, like, because, you know, sometimes we have thoughts in our mind that we cannot like congeal, you know, like you have them all there, but you can't get them together. And honestly, and I remember this from the first time we spoke with you, Lani, that like once we have heard you speak on the thing, I'm like, oh yes, all of this, right? Like you're like the bell, you're going to learn from the bell, right? Like
Yes.
it's like we have that like we kind of reach around for that when we talk, but you just have such a brilliant way of communicating about story that makes it make so much sense.
Oh,
So
thank you. I mean, I gotta say, it's all those years of podcasting, and like you guys are so wonderful. Like I just need to go off on how incredible you guys are and how much I love you. Like you're so wonderful. You're so joyful. You come to this podcast that like, and Buffy is deeply, deeply meaningful to so many of us for so many different reasons. And it is truly, I think, a transcendent piece of art from this particular time period. And, I think that's why so many people want to go back to it. So many people want to have these discussions because there is so much meat on that bone. And you guys come at this with so much passion, so much curiosity, so much compassion, so much generosity of spirit. Like you guys are so amazing. And I would like to, for a moment, if we could, divert a little way from Reptile Boy and talk a little bit about your book, Slayers, Every One of Us. Can we talk about how amazing that is? Like, can I gush? Okay, you guys can blush all you want, but I
Jenny's
need to
gonna
talk
hide
about
under
this.
the table.
Yeah, I gotta go.
I'm
But
gonna
Kristin
smile
will
and
listen.
nod nervously.
It's so beautiful. And here is what I love about this. Like, yes, Slayers, Every One of Us, and it's about buffering. It's about that experience, about everything. But you guys went into this like deeply, deeply personal space that I think, you know, when you talk about your breakup and your divorce and then your friendship and then the rebuilding of that connection, going from romance to being family for each other. And that is one of the things that we don't talk about, I think, anywhere near enough. Is I have like my kid's dad, we divorced like 16 years ago. Like we're both so over it. We love each other. Like he is my family. He is, you know, like so deeply familial to me. I didn't have a great family to grow up with, so he's the chosen for me. You know, like I absolutely adore him. And building a relationship, building a true friendship from the remains of a romantic relationship. It's such a difficult thing to do, and it requires so much tending, you know, so much care, like caring for yourself and knowing what your limitations are, and then for the other person and going through that transition together. And you guys are so beautiful. And then what I loved the most was We Could Always Get a Divorce. Like that song, when you're on the other side and you look back at the divorce and you can be like, well, thank God we did that. Because my kid's dad and like, I can't talk about him as my ex-husband because he's so much more, he's family, he's my kid's dad. He's like so important, you know? And so like, when you think about that, We Could Always Get a Divorce. And it is just one of the most beautiful things because yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can do that. And that
if you're listening, you can too.
It doesn't mean the end of the world. It doesn't mean anything. And it can be tough, but you will make that transition and that you can be loving. And it was funny because like I'm married now, of course, to Ian Martin of Passion of the Nerd, who I'm deeply, deeply in love with. And if I get started talking about him, it's just going to be this whole thing. Like, but I remember in my wedding vows, I said the thing that I'd said to him at the beginning of our relationship, which is every relationship ends in tragedy, right? Either you're going to split up or one of you is going to die. Either way, there's no happy ending in this for anyone. The only thing that we can do, the best thing that we can do is promise to leave each other better than we found each other. That at the end of this relationship, however it ends, and it will end, that we are both of us better for having had that time together. And that is the success of a relationship. And I see this in your book. And like, I love all the Buffy stuff. I love the audiobook. If y'all have got the print copy, get the audiobook too, because the audiobook has all the songs in it. And it's so beautiful. And we're hearing both of your voices reading your chapters. And And it is just so incredibly touching. And like, I know Eat, Pray, Love was the big getting a divorce book that everybody read. And this core story of your relationship together, your friendship, your familial tie, you know, is so beautiful, so loving, so wonderful. And it is just this incredible story of how you do that. You know, how you break up with somebody without losing them. And I can't even tell you, like, there's so much I love about this book, so much. Everybody out there, if you haven't gotten it already, you have to get it now. But like, it just is so deeply touching to me. And I've always loved you guys, but you know, reading that book, listening to your voices, I fell in love with you so much more all over again. And I just wanted to say, like, I wanted to have a moment where I could just say that about both of you. I think you're both just so extraordinary.
We think that you are as well.
What is it like to be the coolest and nicest person on the face of the planet at the same time?
Oh, also, while you
Yes.
think about your answer to that question, I just realized that, Jenny, instead of calling you my ex-wife, I can call you the father of my podcast.
Yes.
The mother of my podcast. We co-parent the podcast together. And, you know, I was thinking
however y'all want to phrase it, but like, yeah, because the ex-spouse, like, you know, designation feels like it carries this like anger with it, you know, like it carries this, and you know, I always call him my kid's dad, because he is the person that I made these amazing people with, right?
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, X implies X is really signaling it's over. It's over. It's X. It's done. Yeah. Whereas like my kid's dad is active. It's now. He is still your kid's dad. Just like Jenny is still my podcast's dad.
Yes, exactly. You know, so like you've got this thing, and the work that you do together is so meaningful, and the relationship that you have together is so meaningful. And like, I just adore this book. I find it so touching and so meaningful. And it is about Buffy, and it's about buffering, but it's about so much more. And I think that everybody should read it. I think it should be required reading everywhere. Like, everybody should read this book, because I think that it just maps out a path for people to alter the nature of their relationship without altering the love in the relationship. And I love it. I love it so much. And I think you guys are amazing. And I'm sorry to have made it personal. I know this is your workspace.
No. I mean, the two don't exist separately for us.
So our workspace has been our personal space.
I've had some personal shit happen to me in a public space, and it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, it's a real journey.
But look at us
like
all. No one else.
Yeah. And now look at you guys. You're just so incredible, and I'm so happy for both of you.
Look at us all.
We're
three
about to have
we're unstoppable.
New Buffy chosen family. All four of us plus some. We're about to all go on a new adventure together in that space, and I'm just very, very thankful that we got to talk today about Penis Demon Money Snake. You know, Reptile Boy was the birth of our Smash the Demon Lizard patriarchy merchandise.
So
and so,
much.
Jenny, I'm thinking Penis Demon Money Snake might be the new,
I think you gotta work with it. Like, it's just it's too perfect. Penis Demon Money Snake. That is honestly, I think you can track like 90% of the world's problems down to Penis Demon Money Snake. That's, you know, so much of it.
I personally am going to avert my gaze from Penis Demon Money Snake, but I know that you both will handle it, cover it, and keep me informed.
Great.
As I flee in the other direction.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Sometimes you just can't look at it, and I think that's important too.
Well, I haven't even taken my proper notes for Reptile Boy yet, so I'm going to have that really just like heartbeat with me. As I sit
be like our
tomorrow.
mantra.
I think there's an opportunity for a new song, Jenny. I'm just saying, like, if you ever feel so inspired to work with Penis Demon Money Snake, I think that there's a lyricism to it.
There really is. It has like a natural rhythm that just sort of the song is going to write itself. Is what it feels like.
I mean, seriously, like, I'm not a musical person, but I feel like it's in there. It's in there.
I mean, I think you have incredible instincts for somebody who doesn't identify as a musical person.
Oh, Lani, thank you for being here. Thank you for defending Reptile Boy. For those who needed it defended, I think Jenny and I both stand with you in defense of this episode. I think it does a lot of, you talked about the big beats, the big to the pain of what makes Buffy episodes so powerful. But I think that this episode also does the other piece of what makes an episode of Buffy so great is it takes something and uses mythology and uses demons and uses, to like let us have fun while we smash it.
The power of metaphor, man, like it'll carry us so far. And that's one of the other things that Buffy does so well is traipse in this metaphorical space where the monster actually means something. And that I think is just so incredibly beautiful. And I love it. So, and actually, I remember I was talking to you guys about how terrible I am at self-promotion. And, like I actually teach a novel writing thing that I didn't even mention. It's called The Year of Writing Magically. I teach this every year and it has changed my life. Like I've been able to write novels and the whole thing is it's about community. Like we write novels in isolation so much. And so I run people through this yearly workshop and we have a lot of people who just come back every year for it, and it's just been such an incredible experience doing this thing. And so I definitely want like anybody out there, if you're interested in hanging out with me, like it's my writing cohort. We write together throughout the whole year. We walk through the whole process from figuring out what you're going to write to actually doing the writing to revising it and all of that. And it is so much fun. And it's all about having a community of people together who are, working on something. Like they decide that they want to do this thing and it gives you the space in the year to do the thing that you want to do. Yeah. So I just wanted to mention yourwritingmagically.com, which I forget about. I forget to promote myself. I'm the worst because I'm so excited about what you guys are doing.
No, I know we're the same. Though all we need to do is ask you onto our podcast, and then we don't have to self-promote.
I will promote for you. I will promote for you at any time.
But in all honesty, I run the Buffering Book Club, and we meet every other month, and we read a book together and what have you. And so I know if they are not already in this course with you, I know that there are a lot of buffers specifically who are writing novels, working on story, and who I know would absolutely love to get the chance to work with you. So,
awesome!
If they didn't already know about it, now they do. And what I was going to ask you as well is that, like, okay, so you were like, I've written 12 books. First of all, oh my God,
that's the most bananas thing I've ever heard in my life.
That is so many books.
What do you mean?
It is okay, 12? But they're fiction though. Like y'all wrote a memoir.
It's still 12
memoir.
books.
You are pulling your soul up through your like. It's so hard. Like fiction is hard, but it's not as hard as a nonfiction book. I'm going to tell you that right now, having done both. But
what
I've
when you have.
books.
I think when people come to, like, if you tell me, like, you should watch this show and there's 8 seasons, I'm like, I don't. Yeah. Where, if you have 12 books and I'm like, I would like to begin, Lani, where would you send people? Where is the book you want people to begin their journey with your story?
I would say, like, I wrote a handful of silly romantic comedies that were very, very fun. But I think the book where I started to really find out who I was as a writer is this book called The Fortune Quilt, which is a story where I love tarot cards as like meaningful stuff. By the way, I have it right here. Do you guys have the Buffy tarot card deck?
We don't somehow.
Okay.
Company expense. Company expense.
It's amazing. Like I love this thing. But anyway, so one of my favorite tarot cards is the Tower, and the Tower is it's a horrible thing to experience. It's when your whole life falls apart, right? You build up this life, and then it gets hit by lightning, and there's people jumping off the top, and it's crumbling to the ground, and that is the Tower tarot card. But the thing that's so wonderful about the opportunity of the Tower is that if the tower that you built wasn't faulty, it wouldn't have fallen. If it's fallen, then it means that you need that fresh ground to build upon again. And that is the thing that I love about the Tower. And so with the Fortune Quilt, I decided that I wanted to write a story about somebody whose entire life had been towered and just had to pick up from the ground and start building again, and like what that process is like. So it's romantic and it's funny, but I think it has deeper meaning in it, and I think that's probably like it's definitely my most popular book out of everything that I've written, and it's one of my favorites. So so I would start there. I would start there. I will hopefully have new books out soon. I've got one out on submission now, so we'll see if any editors want to bite it. But if not, I'll be self-publishing it, and anybody can just find it eventually. I will have it out there. But
incredible. Well, you can find all of the things that exist already in the show notes today. And you said yearoflivingmagically.com. Is that
Year of Writing Magically?
Yeah. What did I say? Reading?
Year of Living Magically, which also I think would be an awesome thing. I think you should also live magically. I think you should do everything magically that you possibly can.
But for writing specifically, yearofwritingmagically.com.
Yes.
Oh, Lani, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. It's such a delight to see you guys. I love you so much.
Oh, we love you too.
We love you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We absolutely are not allowed to let anywhere near the amount of time that has elapsed since last we spoke.
No, we did ourselves wrong. We're having you back.
But we won't make the same mistake again.
At the latest.
Anytime you want me, I will be back. I will discuss also the episodes that nobody else wants to talk about. Let everybody else take Band Candy and Doppelgangland, which I already did with you guys. I will do, except Go Fish. I will not talk about Go Fish ever again. But I will do any episode, no matter what it is, the one that nobody else wants to talk about. Bring me in. Somebody cancels at the last minute, call me. Like I'm here for you any minute, anytime.
All right, awesome. Yes. And my dream, I'm putting it on the vision board for this Once More with Spoilers, that we will have you at a live event recording an episode live with us.
I will be there so fast.
Let us make that happen.
I'll be there 5 days before it happens. That's how much I will be there. To see you guys in person would be just delightful. I would love that.
Oh, you are the best.
Something to look forward to.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, until next time, much sooner.
Yes.
Thank you, Lani.
Thank you so much.
Does music really have the power to heal? How can you instantly be more persuasive? What would the world be like if there were no bugs? These are the kind of topics we explore in every episode of my podcast called Something You Should Know. My name is Mike Carruthers, and what we do on Something You Should Know is we find leading experts and curate topics that will impact your life, satisfy your curiosity, or simply fascinate you, maybe all of the above. Out of all the millions of podcasts in the universe, Something You Should Know is usually ranked in the top 200 of all podcasts on Apple. A lot of people like Something You Should Know, and I'm willing to bet you will too. We deliver 3 episodes a week and have a catalog of over 1,000 shows for you to listen to. Give a listen to Something You Should Know, wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, we're Meg Bashmaner
and Joseph Fink
of Welcome to Night Vale. And on our new show, The Best Worst, we explore the golden age of television.
To do that, we're watching the IMDb viewer-rated best and worst episodes of classic TV shows.
The episode of Star Trek, where Beverly Crusher has sex with a ghost. The episode of The X-Files, where Scully gets attacked by a vicious house cat.
And also the really good episodes, too.
What can we learn from the best and worst of great television? Like, for example, is it really a bad episode, or do people just hate women?
The Best Worst, available wherever you get your podcasts.